So welcome everyone. My name is Mike Macedonio. Welcome to Networking on Steroids, No Scrooges Allowed. My co-host today is Mark Hackbot. He's going to be managing the microphones for me. And so this is what you can expect today. I'm going to be showing you some techniques in networking that you may already be using, or they may be new skills that you'll be able to apply. As I'm going through them, what I'm going to also do is put you into breakout rooms so you could use these questions, these skills with each other as a way of practicing. Okay? You're probably also going to meet some people by doing that, okay? Which is another bonus for today, is you're going to be able to connect with other people that are in this meeting today. So let's talk about networking. You know, if you, like me, experience networking and you talk to people about coming to a networking event, whether it's BNI or outside of BNI, you sometimes get people cringing. Or they've got this bad taste in their mouth about what networking is going to be.
Just move the switch. It's cold in here.
Well, my opinion with that is that a lot of times people are disinterested in networking. Now, tell me if you've seen this before. You go into a networking event and you're immediately approached by people that are trying to pitch you. Here, let me have your business card. Here's my business card. And basically, their idea of networking is face-to-face cold calling. How can I make a sale? How can I prospect this room? And personally, I don't like to go out there prospecting. Personally, I don't like being prospected. But I could enjoy networking if it's for the purpose of meeting people, the purpose of making new connections. You know, I think Ivan has one of the best quotes in the book, Truth to Delusion. And it says, networking is more about helping others as a way of growing your business. And if you think about that, when people come together, when we come together, if we have that mindset, if we have that strategy, that my purpose in networking is try to help others as a way of growing my business. And helping others is the best way to move that relationship from visibility to credibility and even into profitability. We call it the VCP process. Now, the VCP process actually refers to the stages of a referral relationship. Visibility, meaning you know who they are and they know who you are. Simple as that. They can say first name, last name, and what you do. Okay, you're visible. Not likely to get referrals at that stage of relationship, but when it gets to credibility, credibility is where we have trust. We believe they're good at what they do and they do what they say. In this phase, okay, you can't start to expect referrals from those level of relationships. Now, most people think of profitability meaning they got paid, but in the referral process, profitability is when two people are proactively and consistently referring one another. Proactively, consistently referring one another. So why do I bring this up? Many of you have already heard about the VCP process. It's because this is what gets violated so many times at networking events. People are not even in visibility. As a matter of fact, they're in invisibility, and they're trying to prospect you or trying to get something from you. It's about helping others, not helping yourself to their pocketbook. About helping others. And there is a number of ways we can do that. Okay, there's a number of ways. And they usually involve getting to know the person, okay, and what they need. By asking appropriate questions, we can find ways to help people. Now, you might be thinking, Mike's talking about this networking like we can get out there, actually get out there and meet physically. Right? None of this has changed online. I see the exact same violations of the VCP process in our online meetings. Okay, because they're more accessible to people anywhere getting into a meeting, I'm finding people coming into a room, they're in invisibility, and they're simply there to prospect the room. Right? What a waste of networking when you have an opportunity to meet people and find out ways you might be able to help them or serve them or bring value to the meeting. Okay? Now, I have had people from outside the country tell me that they want to get into our meetings. They want to go, and I asked them, so what's your intention? in not so many words, just say pretty much tell me I'm there to prospect for my business. And you're like, yeah, no, thank you. All right. We use the VCP process as we make connections, and it's the most productive way that I know of creating those referral relationships. One of the best ways, best ways, moving from visibility to credibility and certainly into profitability, okay, is one-to-one meetings. More so than your chapter meetings, it's the one-to-ones that you can really go deep with the relationship, really get to know who the person is, really get to understand their business, and really get to understand how you can help them. Okay? So just like in large networking events, small network events, one-to-ones is the same strategy. How can I help you? And here's the key. It may have nothing to do with business. It may have nothing to do with referrals. It just may be a way that you could be of service or make a connection or bring value to them. And I don't know a better way to do that than with our one-to-ones. So let's take it from the large networking event to the one-to-ones. Now, I'm encouraging you to go visit other BNI chapters. Okay, so don't think that I don't want BNI members to go. I absolutely want you to do this, and I want you to do it with the right mindset. How can I bring value? How can I help people in this group? Maybe I have connections I can introduce them to. And then as you're meeting the people in that chapter, in that group, look for opportunities that you can invite them to do a one-to-one, to really get to know them, to move it from invisibility to visibility. Right? And so even today, as you're meeting people, look for opportunities to set up one-to-ones to get to know people better and expand your sphere of influence. One of the tools that we talk about in BNI and in the world's best known marketing secret is the gains exchange. Okay, because BNI likes to overuse acronyms, we'll use an acronym for each of these as well. And the gains exchange is sharing your goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use each of these to bring more value to those meetings and also find ways that you can help your partner. Now, I want to apologize in advance for those of you that are examiners. This is going to get a little irritating because I'm not going in order. All right, so I'm not going to go in order, but please stay with me. And what I would like to do is I would like to start with interest. Okay, and this is not only something I will do in a one-to-one, this is actually something I also use when I'm doing networking, with a bunch of people and just meeting people that I've never met before. Once the pleasantries are done, it's like, so what's your name? What do you do? And when you get this opportunity today, I just want to let you know that some of the participants here are not in BNI. So you may want to ask them, how do they hear about this workshop? Okay, where are they from? Where do they do business? One of the questions I like to get into after I go over those is, so what do you love to do when you're not doing what you do for business? What do you love to do? And several things happen when you ask this question. At first they were like, it's not about business. But what they'll do is they'll start explaining the things that they're passionate about. What do you love to do? I love being with my grandchildren. What do you love to do? I love art. I love playing the drums. I love cycling. All of these things that they love to do, okay, you'll find excitement coming out. You'll find passion, okay? And when you're talking about the interest phase, the eyes phase of the gains exchange, it is a great opportunity to develop bonding and rapport, okay? With new relationships and existing relationships, this is a great bonding and rapport conversation. Now, it's not just about listing the interest, but finding out more about that. Okay, so I know Rob Martell, who is on this meeting today, I know he loves playing guitar, and I've seen him play guitar. He's very good at it. Okay? But a better conversation, besides just knowing that, is, Rob, how did you get started? What are some interesting things that have happened to you? And I think, Rob, you told me one time you were actually gigging with Eric Clapton. Was that the case?
No, Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen, that's right? And you have conversations about what their experience is with those interests. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do in a moment is I want to open up breakout rooms. And in these breakout rooms, what I'd like you to do is introduce yourself. Okay, there should be one other person in that room. I'd like you to introduce yourself, where you're from, are you involved in BNI or not? Where do you do business? What do you do? Of course, I want all of that information passed. And then I'd like you to, one at a time, start interviewing the person about their interest. What do you love to do when you're not doing your business? And then find out about that and anything you can about how they got started, what's so important, where they get to do it, who they get to do it with. And I'd like you to take 5 minutes just focusing on your partner. And then you'll get a chance to switch and likely to do the same with the other. Now, it might happen in a room right now of 80 people that I put you into the room and no one shows up. That might happen. What I'd like you to do is just patiently wait, because they may be, having to get it signed. Patiently wait a few minutes, but if they don't show up, come back into the main room with me, and I can replace you with somebody to do a one-to-one with. All right? So don't stay there alone. Okay? Come back, and I will replace you. All right? So give me a moment. I will set up those rooms for you. Oh, we got people that love dancing and grandchildren, skydiving. 2020 was a crazy year, but at least 2020, I could say I jumped out of a plane. That was my birthday celebration. I told my son I wanted to learn how to surf, so we got me skydiving. Wow, cool stuff. So while you're putting those in there, I'm going to show you one of the things you can do with your network when you discover their interest. It's a way for you to use appreciation. In my referral marketing plan, the way I show people how to use referral marketing plans, we use appreciation to show when people have helped us in some ways. Sometimes it's simply you did a one-to-one with them and you send them a thank you note. Or sometimes it's they've given you a referral, okay, and you get an opportunity to thank them for that referral with an appreciation gift. Well, what if that appreciation gift is something that they're passionate about, like dancing or skiing or cycling or their grandchildren? Many of you know Trey McAllister. Right? I was working with him years ago with a referral partner. And what he did for an appreciation gift wasn't to get his referral partner something that she liked and enjoyed. He found out what her children liked and enjoyed and got this specific coloring book for them. Okay, you talk about a wow appreciation gift. When I first met my wife, she was a client. She was working as a coach and a trainer in Referral Institute, and she referred me somebody to buy a franchise. Okay? I knew her interest and what her passion was to go to Greece. I got her a farmer's guide to Greece, a Greek calendar, and sent it as an appreciation gift because I knew what she was passionate and interested about. Now, she married me. This stuff can work. Right, and really compel people to want to help you again and again and again. So that's another way of using this interest. It's bonding and rapport, but it's also a way to identify how you can appreciate your referral sources. All right, let's go on to a next one. All right, and the next one I'd like to talk about is accomplishments. Okay, accomplishments, finding out what other people's accomplishments are. Now, in business, okay, we have our business accomplishments. It may be winning an award. It may be that we successfully opened the business or how long we've been doing business. Okay, there's those type of accomplishments, okay, that we can share with our referral sources or find out from our referral sources. Personal accomplishments matter too. Personal accomplishments matter too. For example, I was doing a one-to-one with Sarah, and one of the things that Sarah has done is competed in the triathlon. Okay, do you think that mentality, you think that commitment rolls over into her fiduciary business as well? Yes. Okay, those same type of characteristics, those same type of drive is the way they're going to show up as a business owner. So here's one of the ways that I've used an accomplishment of my director consultant to edify him. Now, his name is Dave, and he worked for me years ago, but Dave is this guy who, I'm a little guy. He makes me look like a big guy. Okay, Dave is a small man who looks like a small boy. Okay, he is, at the time, he looked like he was 14 years old. And I'm going to bring him up on stage and I'm going to help business owners like you how to be more successful by listening to this 14-year-old guy. And so what I would do is that I bring him up there and I say, hey, everybody, this is not my son. He's not a little boy. He's actually a father, a husband. He's 27 years old. And he's going to share with you how to be successful with referrals. One thing you want to understand about him, this is where I go over his accomplishments. He is in the cold calling business of cold calling businesses. He sells office supplies and office equipment. It's ever there's a cold calling business, he's in it. And he does his entire business by referral. He does not cold call. He does not distribute catalogs. He does it all by referrals to the tune of $1 million a year. Would you like to know how he does it? And Dave would come up and all of a sudden everybody wants to listen to this 14-year-old man tell him how to build his business. And by the way, if you're not interested in that, he also tried out for the Seattle Mariners baseball team. So now all the baseball fans want to connect with him after the meeting. Everyone in the room wants to hear about how they're going to build their business. So accomplishments is ways that we can promote one another. Okay, and it doesn't only have to be a business accomplishment. So we're going to play the same game. We're going to put you into a breakout room. In that one-to-one, find out who the person is, what they do. Again, they may or may not be involved in B&I. And then I'd like you to go deep and find out about their accomplishments, but not just what they accomplished, but what made that so important to them. Write that question down. What about that is so important? What drove you to want to do that? And that's when the conversation really gets real. Okay, I can list off my accomplishments and you might stereotype me as saying, oh, you're just an adrenaline junkie, or you're just an adventurous guy, or you're just, yeah, really behind all of that. If you really understood why I would do a triathlon and, race at Leadville and do all the crazy stuff I've done, it's because I always had to prove myself. Always felt like I had to prove myself by not being good enough. Okay, and well, now you're starting to have a real conversation. Now you understand maybe a little bit more about what's behind that. All right. So this is not a checklist of accomplishments, but really go deep, okay, and find out what made that so important and how it impacted them. All right, here we go. We're going to do some breakouts again. Well, Mark and I do have a relationship, but what I want to do right now is demonstrate the G in the gains, and that is goals. So Mark, I want to ask you, this doesn't have to be a business, maybe even a personal goal that you have right now.
Yes, a personal goal that I have right now is actually, I've quit my gym membership, and I've always been a person who wanted to do my walking outside mostly. Of course, in Wisconsin, it gets a little cold and a little snowy here, so I've always wimped out. My goal this year is not to wimp out, and I'm going to walk 3 to 4 days each and every week, and it's going to be outside.
All right. Mark, what about that is important to you? Well, why working out now?
Well, back a few years ago, I had some health issues, and my exercise is extremely important to me right now to continue to keep myself healthy. And so that's a big motivator. I'd like to stay around for a little longer.
So Mark, I know we're not in a true one-to-one and you have an audience right now. Would you mind sharing what those challenges were?
Oh, no, not at all. I've actually been, well, subject to a few challenges, but the most recent was a melanoma diagnosis about 3 years ago. And that one scared me more than all the rest because melanoma can be something that spreads pretty easily. So I went keto, and I've been working at keeping myself extremely healthy so that I don't have to deal with the side effects of where melanoma could end up.
So this is a little bit more serious than just I need to exercise.
Yeah, it's got some weight to it.
And And what I'm just demonstrating, what Mark's helping me with right now is to really, again, ask the questions beneath the questions. Okay, here's a goal to work out. Oh yeah, so do I. So does probably everybody in the room. Okay, when you find out what's really behind that, now you're really starting to uncover how you can help them. And what Mark just shared, it's like, Mark, if I was able to help you in some way accomplish that goal, to see it through, would that make a difference in our relationship?
Oh, absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
and here's the thing when we talk about help, it's not only about bringing them business or referrals. Sometimes there's other ways we can help. Mark, have you heard of Strava?
I have heard of Strava, but I've never really checked it out like I should. So,
And one of the ways that we might be able to hold each other accountable is by following each other on Strava and tracking our workouts. I can see where you went for a walk and you can see where I went for a bike ride.
I didn't realize that was possible.
And then we can encourage each other.
We could.
Okay. Effective business networking is about helping others as a way of growing your business, finding out what those goals are, and in some way bringing value to help them with those goals can significantly change that relationship. So just like we did before, what I'd like to do is put you together. You're going to do another one-to-one, and you're going to uncover the goals and maybe some ways that you may be able to help one another.
With you in spirit.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Mark, if you could mute that one more time. So I encourage you with the people that you've met today, that you reach out and schedule a full one-to-one. It was great that we did this little exercise of covering our interests, our goals, our accomplishments, but we can do more. Okay, so the two we didn't get a chance to cover were the networks and the skills. And very quickly, on networks, if we share how we're connected to people, okay, it gives them an opportunity to possibly join us in those networks. For example, I've recently joined Alignable. If you haven't heard about Alignable, I encourage you to check it out. And if you do participate or you are going to sign for Alignable, connect with me. Okay? Just put in there, hey, did networking on steroids, I'd love to connect, and I would love to connect you there. It's a small business community, and it's another opportunity for us to connect, not just inside of BNI, okay, but with other networks. You know, in my book, The World's Best Known Marketing Secret, we set marketing plans to have multiple networks, like a Chamber of Commerce, a Rotary, or an online platform like Alignable. So I encourage you to do that. As far as skills is the way that we can show people how we can help with something, with a talent that we have. All right, so inventorying your skills and finding out your referral partner's skills is a way of doing that. I want to thank you for taking the time to participate in networking on steroids. No Scrooges allowed. It didn't look like we had any Scrooges show up on this meeting. And I want to wish you the very best in 2021. You know, 2020 has been a lot of curveballs. We've had the pandemic, the fires, the smoke so toxic outside, you can't go outside, homeschooling, social injustice leading to riots. We got all of those curveballs thrown to us. And yet here you are. Here you are still standing in business, still serving your customers. I hope you can own that with all of the challenges, that you can look back and say, that's right, I did that. You know, Rebecca told me last week, just up to last week, that in BNI, this region has passed each other, helping each other as a way of growing the business, over $110 million. Okay, that is phenomenal. And what I hope is 5 years, 10 years from now, that I can look at you in the eye and say, yeah, we did it and we're doing well. Okay? Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you again. And I hope you too connect with people in this room.